Alright, let's look at the homework 7.5, 7.6, problem number 4. Alright, so we want to find the three positive numbers x, y, and z so that the sum of them is equal to 2 and the sum of the squares is the smallest. Alright, so let's do that. Alright, so we know that we want to minimize, so it's going to be a minimization problem. So minimize, right, the sum of squares. So it's going to be x squared plus y squared plus z squared, right? And the subject to, so there's a constraint, the sum of these three guys plus y plus z is exactly equal to 2, right? And it's actually, it says the three positive numbers, and so we know that the x and the y and z are all positive numbers. Alright, so let's do that. So first thing I would do is that I'm gonna just rewrite this, solve this constraint for z. So I'm gonna subtract x and subtract y. So we can write it as a z equals 2 minus x minus y. Right? Then I'm gonna plug this back into this z right here. So we can rewrite this guy as, alright, x squared is x squared and y squared is y squared. Alright, but the z squared, I'm going to replace z by the expression we just found. 2 minus x minus y squared. Alright. Alright, so the constraint is kind of built into this function, and so I'm going to call this function f of x comma y. Right? Now we just need to try to minimize this function here. Right? So let's do that. Right, so we have to find a critical point, so we're going to take the first partials. So partial with respect to x is going to be, right, derivative of x, partial of x squared with respect to x would be 2x. Right, partial of y squared would be 0 since it's a constant. Right, so partial of that part is going to be, put the power in front, keep the same quantity, which is 2 minus x minus y, and subtract 1 from the power, so it's the first power, and then multiply by the partial of the inside with respect to x, so that's going to be negative 1. Alright, so it looks like 2 is in common, so we have 2 here and 2 here, and I'll pull that out, so it's a 2. Alright, so you have x here, and you have a negative x and x, so that's the 2x. So there's 2x there, right? That will take care of this x and that x right there, right? Then you would have, let's see, negative y, so it's going to be positive y. So you have plus y here, and negative 2. So we took care of that, and negative 2. All right, so minus 2. All right, so this is set that equal to 0. All right, so let's look at the partial with respect to y also. All right, that's going to give us partial of x squared would be 0 because it's a constant. Partial of y squared would be 2y. Right, partial of this is the same way, so it's to put the power in front, keep the same quantity 2 minus x minus y. Right, subtract 1 from the power, then multiply by the partial of this guy with respect to y, which would be negative 1 again. So you will get, so 2 is in common, so pull that out. Right, so you have x, so 2 is pulled out. Right, So negative 1 times negative x is going to be just the positive x. And then you have negative y, and times negative 1 would be positive y. There's another y, so it's going to be 2y. Right? Then negative 2 is left over, so it's a negative 2. Right? So that will take care of everyone. Alright. So let's find a critical point here. So we have to make this guy equal to 0. So we have, by basically divide by 2, right? That will get rid of this 2 right here. Then I'm going to just add 2 to both sides. So that way we have 2x plus y is equal to 2, right? And set that equal to the same way. So get rid of 2. So divide by 2. And again add 2. So that will give us x plus 2y is equal to 2. Alright. Alright, so let's see. I would probably just multiply the top guy by 2. Oh, okay, so maybe I should have left it here. So can I maybe change my mind? So instead of dividing by 2, alright, let's do it this way. This might be easier. Right? So I'm going to just add, so this is the same thing as 4x plus 2y minus 4. Right? So I'm going to just add 4. So I'm going to write 4x plus 2y equals 4. Right? Then we can just subtract the bottom equation from the top equation. So 4x minus x would be 3x. And 2y minus 2y is 0. And 4 minus 2 is 2. Right? So this will give us, by divide through by 3, we get x equals 2/3. Right? So x equals 2/3. Then we can find the y value. So we can try maybe using this guy. So right here, or this guy right here, doesn't matter. So I'm gonna plug it back in here. So 2 times 2/3. So it's going to be 4/3. Right? Plus y minus 2 is equal to 0. Right, so this is going to be, right, y, right, combining these two. So 2 is a negative 2 is negative 6/3. So it's going to be negative 2/3 is equal to 0. Right, which means that by adding 2/3, y is going to be 2/3 as well. Right. And also z value, so we found out that the x is 2/3 and the y is 2/3. So z value is going to be 2 minus 2/3 minus 2/3, right? But this is 6/3 minus 2/3 minus 2/3. So that's going to be 2/3. So z is going to be equal to 2/3 as well, right? Then we're going to do a second partials test to make sure that that's going to give you the minimum, right? So we have f(x)(x), right? Second partial with respect to x is going to be, right? That's going to be, it's going to give you 2. Maybe it's easier to look at this. Second partial with respect to x is going to be 4, right? Right, second partial with respect to y is going to be, alright, so with respect to y, it's going to be 2 and 2, so it's going to be 4 as well. Alright, then we have a mixed partial with respect to x, then partial with respect to y. So we're going to take the partial with respect to y, so it's going to be just 2. Right? So the second partials test, so d, quantity d is going to be 4 times 4 minus 2 squared. So this is going to be 16 minus 4, 12. right, which is positive, right? And also, second partial with respect to x is also positive because it's 4. So we know that this is going to be the minimum, right? Right. So therefore, we know that, let's see, when x equals 2/3, y equals 2/3, and z equals 2/3, this quantity is going to be minimum, right? So let's type it in. All right, so answer we have was 2/3, all right, and the comma, oops, it's not typing in, all right, 2/3, right, comma, 2/3, comma, and the 2/3. All right, so let's submit for testing. All right, looks like we got the right answer here. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.